Are we live? Customize your dashboard. Got it. Ah, there we are. Good. Hello and welcome. Hey, Tracy, how are you? So, hi, everybody, and welcome to the Wellness Gala Plus series. I'm Jefferson Harman, and we're going to be talking tonight about dream interpretation. So, in case you don't know, I'm a dream interpreter. I have been all my life, something I had a knowing of as a child, and I have spent the past however many years working on just making it better, just learning, how to do it and do it for others. Basically, I had a nightmare when I was 3 years old, and from the nightmare, I became hyper aware of my dream state at a very young age, and began to really look at the relationship between my dreams and my everyday life. And yes, I was doing that at a ridiculously young age. Um, and I started to talk about it. And as I did that, people would be saying to me, like, what's wrong with you? Because as I tried to speak it, what would come out of my mouth would be something that was, um, to them, absurd. Like they didn't quite get it. So, it sounded like I was just talking gibberish. And so I just shut up about it because it obviously wasn't working at that point for me to try and articulate it. I didn't have the vocabulary. I was too young. So I just shut up about it and I just observed it myself over many, many years. And as I got better at doing it, um, I began to do it for friends and then for total strangers. And now I've been doing it on the radio for the past 10 years, where people call in and I interpret their dreams live on the air. And I also have an internet-based TV show from 2016 to 2017 where I interpreted dreams of Broadway performers, and you can find that at stardreamscafe.com. So anyway, we're here tonight to just talk about dreams. So I'm going to talk until maybe someone comments. If you have a dream that you want to discuss, that'd be great. Um, if you have a question about dreams, if you don't remember your dreams, that's always a good one. I get that at pretty much every workshop I've ever taught. And I'm here to answer your questions. So I'm just going to keep talking in the meantime and just tell you what I know about dreams. So let's go back to the nightmare. Basically, I was being chased, and which is a common nightmare for kids, I'm sure. But I was being chased by a monster, and it was something that, you know, it was very primal. It's not something I think that could have come out of just the imagination of a 3-year-old, but who knows where that stuff comes from. I believe that scripted in our DNA as all the generations before us, and their understanding. So, the things that they saw and the ways in which they process the world themselves live in our cell tissue. And as we begin to um, move through the world, those things move with us. And anyway, so I was being chased through this house, and I saw the house from the outside at the very beginning of the dream, like you would in a movie. Like, okay, new scene, we're about to go into this house, and there it was, and I remembered the house very clearly, both inside and out. When the next day I went driving with my parents, and again, I'm only like 3 years old. Um, we passed the house, and we had driven down that street before, and I never noticed it. But there it was, and it scared the wits out of me. So, basically from there, I was like, well, wait a minute, how did I dream about this house, and how do I know what's going on inside of it? So I started to think in those terms, and over time, I realized, and this was many years later, what I was doing was picking up somebody else's abuse. There's some kind of abuse going on in that house, and that I was really sensing that and picking it up like a radio signal, and that's what kicked my dream interpretation in gear. That was the starting point, and then from there, I became able to observe the fact that there was more going on than just what I understood. And again, I couldn't articulate any of this; it was just a sense that I had. But I was aware that there was someone else there. There was something else there, And the way I would put it now is, if you're watching a movie, then who's the director? Who's the scriptwriter? Who are the people in the audience? Who is the projectionist? And when you're dreaming, you're all of those things at one point or another. But what's the point of that? Is that it's a conversation with your higher self. So you're speaking with energy, you're speaking with spirit when you're dreaming. So it's a conversation, and it's a two-way street. Most of us go through our lives not realizing that, and therefore we don't engage our dreams. Or if we do, we what'd you say, Trace? Hang on. Oh, very cool. um, yeah, that. Sorry, I lost my track there. So anyway, if you're watching the movie, who are all of these people in it? And really, you are able to be any of those people at any given time. You can observe, as I'm sure many of you have, you'll have a dream where you'll see the dream itself through your eyes as if it were real life. So it's just you looking at it. Then there's another kind where you're in the dream and you're observing yourself in the dream. So you're both seeing it from your own eyes, but you're also seeing yourself there. Um, there's all different ways that you can dream, and so as I observed this and I understood that it was a conversation, I began to ask, well, who is the director? Who is the writer other than me? Like, who am I dialoguing with? And that's when I realized that this was spirit, it was energy. And if I honored that conversation, well, think of it this way: if we were talking, we'd be looking eye to eye, and we'd be making eye contact. And if you were talking and I just kind of stopped paying attention and I was like, oh, that's pretty over there, or whatever, you'd eventually stop and wait, or you'd say something, hey, Jefferson, I'm over here. Um, but what happens is the universe is talking to us 24/7. That's our intuition. And we aren't always listening to it. We think we are, but we aren't. And also, a lot of people think that intuition is like when you have an aha moment, but intuition is 24/7. You can't digest food or circulate your blood without intuition. So it's always there, it's always operating. And there's different types of intuition. There's survival intuition, there's the functioning of your body, there is the functioning of your mind, there is your connection to spirit and energy itself. All these things are going on at the same time. It's a very simple software. You either get a signal of comfort or discomfort. And if you get a signal of discomfort, walk away. If you get a signal of comfort, move toward. Very simple. But that's how nature works. So if you understand that that conversation is going on, and then you begin to honor it, you begin to look at it eye to eye, it begins to respond more, which is what I experienced. I had people in my day-to-day life that were appearing in my dreams, or I had circumstances, plot lines, if you will, for the movie. And as those people began to appear, I began to sense that there was a correlation between what was happening during the day and what was happening at night. What I now know is that there's no difference. That information is information. And whether it comes to you during the day, you see, a, let's say you see a cat in your dream, okay? Or you see a cat in your waking state, it's still a cat. So the question is, why is it there? Is it because it's your pet? Is it because you're allergic and they frighten you? Is it because you think they're unlucky? Is it because, like the ancient Egyptians, you worship them like gods? Whatever it is, you have an attachment to that animal, and it's appeared before you. You've intersected with it. Let's put it that way. And that happens whether it's waking or dreaming. So anyway, I'm just going to say, before I go on any further, are there any questions? Does anyone have a dream to discuss? Okay, well, until something pops up, I'll just keep going. So, so once I understood how this was working, what the system was, if you will, what the software was, that it was a conversation, it was a back and forth, that I was emailing spirit, if you will, then I realized that there was a purpose to it, which is, of course, awareness, attention, growth, and that it was an assistance. It was a way for me to see life through a different lens than most people were looking through. And as I understood that lens more clearly and I became older, I understood how to articulate it. And then I went through a very deep depression when I was 35, and it really knocked me down. Um, Out of that, I did a lot of soul growth, and in that time, I really learned to articulate this very clearly and began to really do it for other people to help them as well. So part of my healing was to come out of that and to then impart what I learned to other people. And that's why I teach what I teach, is basically I'm here as somebody who's offering this as a form of healing. The fact of the matter is that it's important to recall your dreams and to interpret them. It's part of your health. It's part of what keeps you healthy. So if you have dreams going on and you don't remember them, there's a reason for that. It's usually a survival mechanism, believe it or not. So if you have um, a lot going on and you're stressed, let's say you're going through a divorce or you're moving or you're changing schools and you're very, very young, whatever it is, insert your stress here. Um, what's happening when you stop remembering your dreams at some point is that that stress becomes so overwhelming to you that you decide that you need to dial it back a little bit. You don't do this consciously. This is on a subconscious level. You still dream, but you don't remember them. So the memory of your dream state is quieted down. Let's put it that way. And then you become used to that. You become used to the fact that you aren't dreaming. And then as you're not dreaming, you begin to have the same thought over and over again. I don't remember my dreams. Now, a belief is nothing more than a thought that you have repetitively until it takes hold in your physiology. So you let enough weeks and months and then years go by where you're saying, I don't remember my dreams, and it becomes your reality. So you can go for decades not remembering your dreams and thinking that's just the way that your body is working. But I would say no, no. Hang on, I'm just going to read this comment here. Oh, okay. So Tracy is saying, funny, I don't often remember my dreams. Well, then, this is for you, Trace. um, so if you don't remember your dreams, and it is because of this mechanism, it's because you have held on to a belief system over time that you don't remember your dreams. And I know this from decades of doing workshops with people. There's always at least one, usually a few people at the workshop who will say, I don't remember my dreams. And so they have this possibility that they could remember them, but they feel that they don't. That tells me right away that the reason that they don't is because they have that belief system that they've created over time. So I ask them, when was the last time you did remember your dreams? And they'll tell me that it's when they were 5 or not at all. Sometimes I'll get that, and it's a question back and forth, and we locate some point in their past where there was a stress that tends to just act as a shut-off valve, and then they're not really fully remembering their dreams. So what I then do is I guide them back from that, and it's actually a very simple remedy. It takes time to build a habit, and the way to get rid of a habit or to change a habit is to insert a new habit that is different than the old one. So if you've had the thought a million times, I don't remember my dreams, replace it with its polar opposite, the positive, I do remember my dreams, and then see what happens. And it's like planting a seed. It doesn't necessarily happen right away, but it will happen. And I can tell you assuredly, again, years and years of doing these workshops, I've had people come back to me as clients because now they're remembering their dreams all the time. So you just change your thought to the positive instead of the negative. Take the N words, as I call them, out. No, not, nothing, never, anything that's going to prevent you from recalling your dreams. Just take that out, and whatever that is, I mean, maybe write it down as a sentence on a piece of paper, and then write its polar opposite. Make it positive. I never remember my dreams. I always remember my dreams. And then what you'll find is, as you repeat that to yourself over time, it will begin to take hold in your physiology, and you will recall your dreams. Once you've done that, then why is it important to interpret them? Because, again, it's information. Paying attention is a phrase that we use all the time, and it is quite literal. I mean, we are literally giving over attention as if it were a currency, and in return for that, we get information. The information can come whether you're waking or dreaming. In the case of dreams, society has taught us that dreams are symbolic and this is reality. But what does that mean? Because my reality and yours are completely different. There's no similarity between how I see the world and how you see the world. We can find common ground, yes, but I had a different upbringing, school, religion, politics, family life, extended family, friends, very different upbringing, very different reality. We're all born into this world to learn different lessons through our own lens, and we're all unique. So if we're all unique, then what is reality? Because my perception of it is completely different from yours, which means that my dreams are going to be completely personal and unique to me. And so when you look at, say, a dream book and you look at the symbols, those are static. They were written into a book. They are someone's perception of what those symbols mean. They don't necessarily mean the same thing for you. Those books can be a useful tool, but they can also trip you up, because if you take verbatim what they say and you apply it, it might not work. Or if it does, it actually may not give you the full interpretation of what it is that you're looking for. So again, the thing to do is to affirm that you are remembering your dreams, and then start to keep track of them, because you'll find that they correlate with your day, they correlate with your life, they correlate with your past and your history and how that's evolving over time. And as you look at that more carefully, you begin to see ways in which you are able to um, evolve from where you are, to grow, to learn. And that includes your body. So your body may be in some way out of balance, and that will come up in a dream. It will be metaphoric, it'll be symbolic, but it may come up. It may even be literal, depending on what your state of being is, and how you process the information. But if you're able to see it clearly as just, okay, I had a dream that I was having a problem with my liver. Okay, fine, go to the doctor, get that checked out. If you're having a dream where there's a lot of anger, it could mean the same thing. So, if you look at the works of Louise Hay and Dr. Carolyn Mays, you'll see correlations between the body and spirit. As Carolyn Mays says, your biography becomes your biology, and that, we are, or Wayne Dyer says that we are not human beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So, given that, what's happening in your soul is actually talking to you 24/7, and one of the ways in which it communicates with you is through your dreams. So, if you are having a physical problem, it is actually the result of something that's out of balance spiritually. And as you work with your dreams, you begin to understand where the imbalances are, and therefore they're easier to clear up. So you will actually be physically, mentally, and spiritually healthier simply by paying attention to your dreams. It's an extremely important thing, and if there are a way to be a doctor of dreams, I suppose that's what I would, recommend that you go to. And in this case, what I can offer you is that I do dream interpretation for other people. I do private sessions, and that's available to anyone at wellnessgala.com. And you know what? I'll throw this out there too as a special offer. If you've watched this video, I will give you 20% off your first session. Because I want to encourage people to come and do this. I want people to be active on a daily basis with their dream state. You won't always remember them necessarily, but when you do, okay, here's the next question. Are they always meant to be interpreted? And I would say not necessarily. A lot of times you'll have dreams that are just random images, where all you're doing is seeing rapid fire imagery that goes from one scene to the next, one planet to the next, one world, one season, whatever. It doesn't even make sense. And you'll see things that are reflections of your day, but there are also things that are just pulled out of the dinosaur era that you don't really understand why they're even there. And I call that dream salad. Basically everything is just thrown into one bowl and mixed up. And what you can do then when you observe that is understand that this is like when you have a computer and it's running sluggishly, and what they call it defragging the hard drive. You go in and you make sure that everything is clear and running in order, and it's a way to take out all of the clutter that's built up on your computer and help it to move more smoothly. And I think that's what our dream state is doing when you have a dream, like a random dream like that doesn't seem to make any sense, is that you are being given an opportunity to defrag the mental hard drive. So that's one kind. And then of course there are going to be some that will bolt you out of bed, and you'll be like, oh my god, what the heck was that about, and you can't get it out of your mind. Clearly that's one that needs to be interpreted, and there's all kinds of dreams in between. One of my specialties is working with people who have recurring dreams. If you've had the same dream over and over again for years, and you're having difficulty with it, or you want to understand what is it telling you, give me a call, definitely, and let's set up an appointment, because there is an origin point to every recurring dream, and there is a reason that you keep getting it. It's a message, like the universe tapping you on the shoulder, and as you don't fully get the message, or you don't fully respond to the universe, you don't engage the conversation, maybe even because you just don't understand that that's what it is, then what happens is the dream repeats, and it may morph a little bit, it may have like little edits to it where it just becomes slightly varied from what the original was, or you may have the exact same dream over and over again. Either way, what's happening is you're being given information to let you know that something's going on here and you need to pay attention to it, that there's a message here, and you need to be consciously, not just subconsciously, which is what's happening in your dream, you need to be consciously aware of it. And then as you become aware of that, as you understand what the message is, you don't need the recurring dream anymore, and they tend to stop at that point, or they tend to change if the message is now amended, if you will. Like if there's a shift in the message, then there's going to be a shift in the dream. And once there's a shift in the dream, you know that you learned the initial part of the message, but there's still more to learn. So again, recurring dreams and nightmares. There's another thing. We just passed Halloween. There's a lot of people having a lot of anxiety right now. We've got the election that just happened, which we still haven't had the decision on. We have COVID-19. We have climate change. Insert your drama here. There's all kinds of things going on in the world right now that are really challenging our ability to be calm and peaceful. There's a lot of people who are having dreams that are just running anxiety, or just flat out nightmares. And those dreams as well are there not just to scare you. I mean, that's not the dream that I had as a child was not to scare me. It was to give me purpose as somebody who would be able to take that information and learn from it and then heal from it and then extend that healing to other people. That all came from that one nightmare. The same is true of what you're experiencing right now. It's a way for you to be, number one, cleansed of what it is that scares you, and number two, to face it, to just like face the fear, understand that whatever this is symbolic, that it's happening on a level where physical laws don't apply, where you will have a symbolic, metaphoric representation of what it is you fear in your conscious life come up in your subconscious, in your dream state. And so as that happens, you will be challenged, if you will, to pick up the gauntlet. Like, do you want to learn from this, or is this just going to scare you? Because the fact of the matter is, if you're anxious about something, your mind is in the future. You're worried. There's something that you're anticipating that you're not happy about. You're seeing some conclusion in the future that you fear. And the nightmare is there to help you process that out. So if you pay attention to the nightmare, then you can actually change your mental state, your emotional state, and again, it's a much healthier way of being. So the more you're aware of that, the more healthy you are, and the less anxiety that you have. If you're constantly a victim of the outside world, if you see yourself as being somebody who operates completely based on what's going on out there, you're always going to get tripped up because you're at the mercy of all the forces around you. It's like being in the hurricane as opposed to being in the eye. So if you can be in the eye, wouldn't that be the preferable place to be? That's where it's calm. That's where it's peaceful. That's what meditation is about. That's what yoga is about. It's what martial arts are about. That you're centering your mind, you're breathing, you're in the present moment, and you're able to calm yourself in such a way that you're able to uh, just operate, your life on a better level, on a more peaceful level. So, and I mentioned breathing. I know I mentioned this in my other talk. Breathing is the one physical thing that you can only do in the present moment. So, you can't breathe a breath in now and have the oxygen be there 6 months from now or 6 months ago. So while your brain is on what's going to happen 6 months from now, i.e., anxiety, um, then if you are in that mindset of what's going to happen in the future, then you're always going to be at the mercy of what else is creating the future rather than choosing it yourself. So that's really what it comes down to, is that you're making a choice. By examining your dreams, by understanding what they mean, then you have a chance to interact with it in a way that you wouldn't have otherwise. So, but anyway, I think our time is about up. Didn't get any questions on dreams tonight, but I invite you, please, to email them to me. You can get my contact information at wellnessgala.com. And thank you very much for watching the Wellness Gala Plus series and for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. Visit wellnessgala.com for more information. You'll find me in the directory, and you'll find me on the featured page. And you can get my contact info there. Email me, text me if you would like. And we will connect, and I will help you with your dreams. And I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much for being with me this evening. And I look forward to hearing from you. And in the meantime, pleasant dreams.